Most parents wonder about the best ways to teach their children about money. But surprising new research shows we shouldn't be teaching children about personal finance in school. We should simply be teaching them more math. Joining us to discuss is Shawn professor of finance at Harvard Business School. Professor Cole, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So haven't there been decades of studies showing the benefits of financial education, but you find these results aren't telling the whole story?
The academic research has tightly linked financial literacy to financial decisions. And so by financial literacy, we mean understanding things like how mutual funds work or how interest rates work. But what has been much harder to establish is a relationship between financial education and financial literacy, and especially how that translates into financial behavior.
And so, in your experience, you're seeing a lot of young people who just they haven't mastered certain essential math skills. Is that right?
Yeah, I think the evidence suggests that all of America is pretty financial, or a large part of America is pretty financially fragile. A quarter of Americans couldn't come up with $3,000 within 30 days if they were hit with a financial shock. And especially the recent financial crisis has led policymakers to focus a lot on financial education as a way to improve consumers' financial decision making. And we started this research project with Kartini Shastri and Anna Paulson to try to understand what the high school financial education program does for people's financial decision making. Over 40 states in the US currently require high school students to take some sort of financial education course. And what we found really surprised us is that people who are exposed to these financial education courses had no better financial outcomes than the people who didn't have to take the courses.
That is really surprising. So you say that we need to break it down to certain specific math skills, exponents, rate percentage comparisons. These are the things that will really help people understand their finances, correct?
Well, what our research does show is that a spate of reforms that required students to take more math classes, basically an additional semester of math, led to greater asset accumulation and lower foreclosure rates on their houses. So we're not able to say exactly which types of skills you should teach to students, but if you look at financial decisions and trade-offs, it's pretty clear that interest rates on compound interest are important in determining outcomes, and they're something that are hard for people to intuitively understand.
Now, what do you link then fewer math skills with? More sort of emotional investing and financial decisions?
Yeah, I think it's hard because people like me, I'm a finance professor, think about everything very rationally and very carefully. But I think that's very different than the typical person's experience. They may simply not understand a menu of options from a mortgage. What's the cost of taking 2 more points on the mortgage versus 1 more point? And they might just throw up their hands and take the person's advice who seems trustworthy, but might end up making a bad decision.
So, Shawn, you're a father. How often do you recommend we should be talking about money with our kids, and how much of our family's particular financial situation should we be sharing with them?
Well, you know, I talk about our financial situation with my daughters, who are almost 4 and 6, but after dinner we tend to focus on honing their math skills rather than extensive financial literacy lessons.
There you go. That's the lesson here. All right, thank you so much, Professor Cole, for that.
Thank you.